Word. Amazing. All right, so let's talk about how to build up and respond to your online reviews. And again, thank you, York Small Business Enterprise Center, for helping us present this amazing webinar, and many more to come. Let's get started. Wait a second, here we go. My name is Miriam Glovegear, and I am the Chief Amazement Officer of Digital Marketing Experts. That's a made-up title that doesn't exist, but I like it. It sets me apart from others, and I find it to be, quite fitting for someone that's in the marketing world. I've been in the industry for about 17 years. I've worked with multiple, many companies from different industries. I've focused on telecommunications, e-commerce, IPTV, AI development, broadband, finance, and many other industries. I decided to go solo about 7 years ago, and since then I have been helping small to medium-sized businesses come up and create a sustainable digital marketing strategy that will help them have a plan with proper metrics and a sharp vision so they can succeed in their business. Our specialty is social media marketing strategies, web development, search engine marketing, optimization, online advertising, and video and mobile marketing. We have partnered up with amazing Holly Hoadley, and she provides all the social media marketing strategies to our clients, and she does the execution of the strategies as well. So without further ado, here's my friend Holly.
Hi guys, so we'll be going over, Miriam's going to take care of a lot of the Google stuff. I'm going to be taking care of the social stuff, and we're talking about basically online reviews. So I have an agency in Newmarket, and I do, like Miriam said, a lot of business strategy, marketing strategy, and branding strategy. And then we also have an implementation department. So we're competitor colleagues in a sense. So we do both websites. We do them differently, and people call us for different reasons. We do social media management and training, as well as content development and full branding, so graphic design and branding. So we've partnered up on a lot of these Y-Spec webinars to provide you guys with the most amount of information that our brains can handle, and hopefully your brains can handle as well. So next slide is basically just some housekeeping. So if you want to take pictures or screenshots or any of that stuff, you go right ahead, but Miriam on her website afterwards will have the PDF, so all the slides, as well as a video, which is this video that will be on her site, and she'll send a link around to everybody. So if everybody can sort of wait until the end of the presentation to ask the questions, you can also put them in the chat. There's a chat on Zoom, but we'll read them at the very end and we'll answer your questions then. If you want to tag us on social and stories or on your posts, you can do Creative Solutions HQ and Digital Marketing Experts on all those platforms. And just keep in mind that this is basically through our experience. So everything we're going to mention to you guys is what we've experienced and what we see as best practices in the industry. But they're all our own views. And if you see other views or other ideas out there, please share them with us. We're really open-minded people that love a collaboration. And we just want to make sure that we give you what we know, but there's also a lot of other information out there.
Amazing. Thank you, Holly. And here's our contact information. As Holly mentioned, you can reach us out at any time. If you have any further questions about this presentation or any other topics that are related to marketing, we'll be more than glad to help you guys out. The best way to reach both of us is first email, then phone, because we're both very busy. All right, let's get started. Today we're going to be talking about how to get online, and I'm going to from time to time move my head so that I can let more people in. I do apologize for that. We're going to talk about online reviews and how to build them up and how to manage them. And this is very important because especially in this day and age with COVID and everything that's happening right now, we need as much help as we can get. And number one source of business for most of us is referral. So more referrals we get that are positive, more likely it is for others to make that decision to want to work with us, or whether it's through our services or purchase our products. Now, there's many ways to get a good reviews, but there are certain platforms that kind of stand out, and most people use them to kind of read the reviews that are written about your business, or they use it to kind of to leave you a review, and they share it with their friends and family, or they drive to your location to come and see you. One of those platforms is Google. Then we have Facebook, we have Yelp, and we have many other ones that Holly is going to talk about, some of them as well. Now, why Google is important, because I'm going to give you guys some stats, but Google is that one platform that a lot of people use that for almost every sort of search that they do online to learn more about other businesses if they have a particular need of a service or product. So that being said, if you have a good review, if you have many people leaving you good reviews on Google, it's more likely for your business to be one of the top choices for others to choose from. Now, let's say if you're a restaurant and you're located in Newmarket, if you own a restaurant and you own that restaurants in Newmarket, and you're on, let's say, Main Street, when there's 5 other restaurants as well. If you have the most amount of authentic, real, good reviews versus the rest, and your overall score is in the 4.9s or 5, it's more likely for people to choose you over others. Again, that's one of the factors that they could be making that their choice decisions based on the food that you have, or how close you are to the parking spot that they like, or how close you are to the skating rink, or so forth. But reviews make a huge difference into why someone wants to work with you. So here are some of the stats. So 81% of buyers use online reviews to learn about a new product or service. That makes sense for all of us, because at one point or other, we have picked up our phone and we have looked for a particular place on Google Map, and the first thing we did is we read the reviews, whether we liked the place, or whether we knew where the place was or not. That didn't really matter at first, because we wanted to see the reviews that were written about it. So, and 80% of those consumers trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation, because it's almost the same thing if you think about it. If I'm about to work with, let's call it True Green, and they're about to come and spray my property for mosquitoes, because I get mosquitoes every summer. If I have 5 people on the same road that I have saying that, yes, you should use True Green because it works, and we've tried it and it works, that's a personal recommendation. And I look at the reviews and I see that everybody has said that True Green's mosquito repellent spray works well, I'm going to work with them. So 80% is a huge number of people that make a decision. And you kind of want to make sure that you are attracting those 80%. And 68% of buyers say that positive reviews make them trust a local business more. And this is very important, especially in this day and age where, we need to support local economy and local businesses. We want to make sure that the information that's going out there, it's authentic, it's real, it's trustworthy, so we can get more people to buy locally than anywhere else. Now, how does it work? Usually, the way it works is I go to a certain place, I make a purchase, the transaction is made, and then I leave a review for the person. Whether I like the service or not, I have gone out of my way, whether it was asked from me, or I had a negative experience, or I had such a great experience that I wanted others to know about it, I'll leave a review. The way it should work is you as a business owner should then respond to that review. If it's a good review, you thank them and you say, that's fantastic. I'm so happy that you guys were happy with our service, or I'm so glad you liked that necklace you bought, or I'm so glad that you loved our chimichangas and they're delicious. We love it. Or if it's a negative review, you will have a process set in place and you respond to that negative review. mainly because you want to show the rest of the world that you care for your customers, and this is the customer service you want to offer. Your customer service includes not just the person that walks into the store and makes a purchase, but also the person that leaves a review and has a comment, because you're reaching out and you're speaking back to them and you're having that conversation. And if the response that you had received, if the feedback that you received, it was negative, you can alter the way that you set up your process at your store, or you can alter the way that you deal with clients so that you can get more positive reviews. So now this negative review that you've got, it's pretty much a learning lesson for you guys to kind of figure out what works and what doesn't work and implement that back into your existing business and improve your customer service. And this becomes a part of your ongoing business ritual. I always tell my clients, on Monday morning, you get into the office or you get to the store, the first thing you do is you respond back. You look at where everything is. If there's been a review left for you on Facebook, or a review has been left for you on Google, open it up, read it, set a process with your staff, go through it, respond back to the review, and make sure that the issue is resolved before the end of day on Monday, because you want to make sure that every day you can check your reviews and figure out how people are interacting with your business. So as you notice, the variety of different businesses. And so let's say this is business A, and business A is getting so many responses from people that have used their services. And if you notice, every single one has got a response back, and the response is very customized. So if Thomas has left a response, the response starts with, "Hi, Thomas." If Nick has left a response, it says, "Thanks, Nick, for leaving a review." So it's a little bit of a customization that's involved in that, and that makes someone feel special. So if I'm leaving a response for, let's say, Dave Rickus, and Dave owns a bike shop, and I said, I was there and I had a great experience. Their team went out of their way to make sure I'm happy and I got the perfect bike. If they're responding back to me, would say, "Hey, Miriam, it was great seeing you. We love that you picked the pink bike and with the basket, and it was, it suits your personality." They paid attention to my need. They paid attention to what I wanted and what I purchased, and they didn't forget about me, even though they had multiple people coming into the store at the same time. And that kind of a customer service will make me want to not only go back, but next time someone's looking for a bike, I will be recommending them and say, "Hey, you know what? They're very friendly, and I learned a lot from them. They were really good, and they cared about me." So if you read my review on Google, you'll see that they responded and made it even more customized. Now, it's very important, and I keep insisting on this, that you should respond back to your customers. And the reason that's important, because let's say customer number one bought from Old State Woodville Road location, they bought something, and they had a really good experience, and they wrote about it. Now, this is online, and this is not going to go anywhere. It's going to be online for the rest of the time, the rest of the world, rest of the time in the world, and everyone can see it. And now what's happening is when a business owner responds to it. So if you see, it says in the last week, and in the last week, it was responded to the review right away. Now, me as an end user from the outside looking in, I see the level of customer service that this person got, that they loved it and it was great. And also how this owner has gone out of their way to continue that customer service and continue that conversation and keep this client engaged. This client will never leave, and they will be there forever. Now, leaving a review so leaving people to give you a review organically happens. When you kind of risking people expressing their thoughts if they're frustrated as well. So creating an organic way of people leaving reviews is a good thing, but at the same time, there's a possibility that someone who wasn't happy could also leave a review as well, which is fine. We want that. but at the same time, you want to take control and allow an easier way to keep happier customers to express their voice more. And this means that when someone walks into your store or has worked with you and you got them a mortgage, or has bought a property with you, or has worked with you and you've provided a marketing service to them, whatever the issue, whatever it is that you've done, what you want to do is you want to immediately ask them if it's okay to to leave us a review. However you felt about it, please leave us a review. And Google frowns upon, and I just had this conversation with Holly a little bit earlier today. I said, well, Google frowns upon you saying, please go write us a positive Google review. It's not something that they want you to do, because they want that organic conversation to come out and for you to learn about, how others are feeling about your business, negative or positive. But it does work if you say, there's loopholes around it, not in a negative way, but in a positive way. You may not be able to say, please go write a positive review for us on Facebook or Instagram, or Facebook or Google or Yelp. But you could say, if you're happy with our service, we would love it if you can provide us with your feedback on Google, and here's the link to it. When you do that, it's more likely for me, if I'm very happy with the service that I got, to go out and write a good review about you on Google or on Facebook. Now, does it make a difference whether this review is on Facebook or Google? No. If more of your clients are on Facebook and you're getting more clients on Facebook, and you have built a big, good community of followers on Facebook, then it makes sense for you to get more of your reviews on Facebook. If you're targeting everybody from everywhere, and it doesn't necessarily matter, and you're not tied down to Facebook or any sort of social media platform, then it's fine to get reviews on Google. So it all depends on your business, the community you've built, your target audience, and where they are the most. Now, what you always want to do is you want to have a proactive approach versus a reactive approach. A proactive approach is when you have put together a set of rules and process in place that you can pick to or use to get positive reviews or get reviews. Obviously, we all want positive reviews, so you want positive reviews. So that means that when you are done with a client and you completed a transaction and they're happy, you have set a set of process together, and you said, well, you know what, if I'm working with Miriam and I provide her with a mortgage and she's super happy, I'll send her a package that says thank you for working with us, and in the package I'm going to have a card that's going to have our address on Google My Business page on the map, so she can go and write a review about us on Google My Business. That's being proactive, because you are planning on how to get that good review. Or if you're sending out an email to Miriam and she worked with you and she was happy with you, you customize one email, not a mass email to millions of people, but one customized email to Miriam, and it says, hey Miriam, I'm so happy that you had a great experience with us. Would you mind to go into this link and provide us with a review? Now that link could be to your Google page, or it could be to your Facebook page, or to your Yelp page, whichever you can use to get more customers and more of your target audience can see that review. I recently purchased this mic that I purchased. I recently purchased it, and they sent me a card with it that I can't find right now. It's somewhere. Oh, found it. There we go. They sent me a card, and it looks like this. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny card. Here we go. See? Oh, I can't. Oh, here we go. It's a card. And what it says on it is, are you happy? Fantastic. Tell your friends and family, connect with us on, and the name of the site. And it says, share your experience by writing a review on Amazon, because I bought it off of Amazon. So this is a proactive way of getting a response. Now, how's a reactive way? A reactive way is when someone has written a review about you and you respond to that review right away. It's instant. You haven't decided how it's going to work out. And that sometimes could work against you. So whether you're having a proactive approach or a reactive approach, it always makes sense to put together a process. And the process could include what you want to say and how you want to say it. Now, you need to have, you have to respond to negative and positive feedbacks. even though it's tempting to like respond to only positive and delete the negative, you don't want to do that. You want to have a respond for a positive reviews and thank your community for sharing the content that you have and recommending your products and invite more members to share their stories. And you also want to have some sort of a pre-designed content put together for how you're going to respond to a negative review. And that is super important. Now, Scott Dickens from Valley High Auto Group said, people don't always go online to let others know that they're happy. That makes getting positive reviews hard unless you have an effective tool and process set in place. And this is so important because I find that when you have tools and process set in place and you're ready to go, whether you have, your existing team or you're switching, team members, or if you have new employees coming on board, that tool and process never changes. So everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows how to respond to reviews, and it's easy for everybody to get to where they want to get. Now, if you want to know how to build your online reviews, it's simple. You want to ask your customers how to do it. You want to send out a request via email, add the link to your Google My Business, your Yelp, Facebook, and other platform that Holly's going to talk about. Or you can do the little card things that I showed you. Now, you want to also, this is something that it's really easy to do. If you have a web developer, if you don't, you can call us and we can tell you how to do it. You want to add a button that will lead to your Google My Business from your website to encourage users to leave you a review after they purchase some sort of a product from you, or when they're happy with your services. If you have a link on your website, it's easier to kind of send them back to your website again and say, hey, we have this link, go click on it and go leave us a review. We would love to hear about it from you. You need to have a process set in place. And I'm a big, avid lover of processes and tools. Processes make life easy because you know how things have to work out, and that's a proactive way of looking at getting a review. So if the sales and the sale or the service that you were wanting to provide is done, you need to put together a plan of, okay, so now we finished our sales. What do we need to do now? Once every sale is complete, if the purchase is complete, if the service we provide was satisfactory, we should ask the person immediately at this part of our transaction to let us know what they think of our process. And when you build that, you can include who's responsible for one portion of this process. Do you need someone to be in charge of sending out an email to the client once the client is happy? Who else needs to follow up to make sure that they leave a review? Once the review is set in place and they posted it, who needs to go online and respond to that review? Now, these are some of the facts you need to consider, because this is one of the reasons, this helps you understand how to ask for that review. So Daily Mail said that the average person checks their emails 15 times, and an average smartphone user checks their device 39 times a day. Mashable said 79% of Canadians have a smartphone. And ComScore said, what type of devices do your customers are using? And that's a good question, because if they're using Android versus Apple, does it make a difference into how you ask for that review? Does it make a difference if you ask for a Google review or you ask for another review, another platform review? And email message can have a 20% read rate in comparison to a 99% via text message. Maybe it makes sense to send a text to every client that you have and say, hey, here's a link. Click on it, go to your phone, and write a review about us on Google. Now, we're going to talk about how to respond to online reviews. Do you respond to a negative review? Yes, you should. And responding to negative reviews shows that you're proactive. You care whether they're happy or unhappy. And if they're unhappy, you want to make sure that you have a plan on how to make them happy. So now, what are your comments to a negative review? What are the process? So here's what not to do. So this client is upset. The owner was trying to be funny, but they responded to a complaint about the quality of the food and the customer, and they scream bad customer service, and the client's unhappy. So the response is, we're just checking our reviews and we think you're a very special kind of funny. You do know reviews are for real, actual paying customers who have had our products and have been to our spot. Anyways, we think you deserve a gold star for just having a keyboard. Clap for yourself. It's very condescending. It's very rude. And that's not the type of response that you want to leave for someone. And this guy wrote the review for 6 months ago, and it was responded back to 4 months. So they left it for 2 months, and then they replied back with a very condescending, rude response. So how are we supposed to respond to a negative comment? Well, we need to sympathize with the person, but never apologize unless you know what the situation is. So ask them what the problem is, find out if we can take it offline to fix the problem, and offer an alternative solution to the problem when you know what, and you're fully aware. And all of this has to happen offline. So you can say that, I'm very sorry that you had a bad experience, but is it possible if we can take it offline and talk about it? And once we figure out what the problem is, we can provide you with certain solutions to fix the issue. And then once you have figured out the problem and offered them alternative solution and they're happy, I would recommend asking this client to write a follow-up review to the scenario. So how does that work? So you say, well, I'm sorry you had this horrible experience. If we can take it offline, here's my telephone number, connect with me, or here's my email, provide your phone number and email. I would love to offer you an alternative solution, whether we need to return your money or we need to deal with what has been the problem. We're fine with working with you however we can help you. And then once everything's done, write an email to them and say, now that you're happy with our service, is it possible for you to provide a feedback on your online review that you have left, to talk about how we provided you with, an alternative solution and how we tried to help you with what has happened. Most of the time, people are okay with providing a follow-up email. Sometimes they will not. Ask twice and not more than that, because you just don't want to upset others as well. Now you want, as I said, tools and process in place. It's very important. You want to identify your client's preferences. You want to identify which way do they want to be connected with, whether they want to be called or emailed, or you want them to come to the store. What works for the client? You want to select your client's ideal tool. Are they comfortable with, as I said, email or phone? You want to set up an in-house process, because you want to figure out if they're negative, if the client's unhappy, what happened, and how to deal with this process, this negative experience process in-house as well. And as I don't know if I said this, but there's always 3 sides to the story: my version, her version, and the truth. So how do we find out what the truth is, and if they're, or is it worth finding out what the truth is? Is it easier to just, provide that solution, alternative solution, and end it? You want to set up a client process. Now, the in-house process is for people that work with you. What's your client process? Are you going to be messaging the client directly as soon as you read the review? Or are you going to wait, find out what's happening internally, and then message the client, and then assign someone to speak to that client afterwards? And how are you going to provide that alternative solution to them? You want to set up a response time. You don't want to wait 4 months or 2 months before responding. If the negative review came on Monday, are you going to respond by Monday, or are you going to respond by Friday? It's fine if you respond by Friday. It's within the same week, but you got to respond back to the client. So how are we going to do it? And you also want to collect data. Data is very important. If you're seeing that you get, on a weekly basis, you're getting 5 or 6 or 7 negative reviews, there's a problem there. How are we going to fix this problem? And in order for you to know that there's a problem, you need to collect data. You need to collect what are the issues people are having problems with? what is the topic of these negative reviews? Are they mentioning any particular people that are part of your team? Are they mentioning any particular timing? And when you collect the data, then you can figure out, well, I know where the bottleneck is and how we're going to fix the problem. And here's a template of a positive, so this is the template sample. I'm going to send this to you guys so you have it. Here's a positive comment template. So dear reviews, again, thank you for your awesome review. We love it. And thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. We want you to feel comfortable sharing good or bad news with us. I understand that you, and then kind of put back their experience in there. This is when you make them feel like you know what they're talking about. With us, fell short of expectation. I also want to thank you for giving us the chance to make it up to you. We're using your feedback to make some important changes, and here's how we're going to be making some important changes. This is when you talk about when you try to push in, make a negative situation into a positive. And here's the name of the manager, here's the contact, and I'm pleased we were able to make things better for you, and we hope you're happy. Now, why does that work? So the template above uses specific ingredients that will boost the reader's trust and credibility, and admiration even further. So you thank them for sharing. This isn't easy to do. It can be stressful and difficult because the customer needs to open up and be honest. Your acknowledgement and empathy, you responded, didn't invalidate or omit or ignore the customer's problem, and your response faces it head on. You acknowledge there's a problem. We're here to fix it. This is how we're going to fix it. And action steps. What are you going to do? Here's the telephone number of the person who is in charge. You can speak to so-and-so, and we're here. We're eager to hear, and we're willing to understand how we can help you. And here what it looks like. So someone has written a review, positive, and then immediately the person is responding back to the client. It's good to give yourself minimum of 24 to 48 hours to respond back to the client. This is important because there was an incident a couple years ago with a client of ours, a potential client who became a full client of ours. They were having a hard time. They had a beautiful website. They had everything about their website was great. And it was optimized. It was great. We just, for some reason, couldn't get search ranking on their site. We couldn't understand what the problem was. It took us weeks of exploration and, trying to figure out what the issue is. And then we finally found out that the reason they're not getting any exposure is because they had bought 1,000 positive reviews. They had paid a company to send their robots to write 1,000 positive reviews on their Google My Business page. And as far as Google was concerned, their Google My Business page was getting hit by 1,000 viruses and bots. And that's not ethical, not legal. And B, it looks like they're being spammed. So that being said, it affected their website. They couldn't get their website up. Sorry, I have to admin one more person in. And they couldn't get their website up. And it turned out because they had bought these bots reviews, it permanently brought down their search engine ranking. We had to build a brand new business site for them. We had to change the company's name and build everything from scratch. So that being said, that's the consequence of buying online reviews. So you're not doing yourself any favors, and it's not a benefit to have 1,000 positive reviews, because when you get a bot hitting your website, hitting your Google My Business and write a review, you're not getting comprehensive reviews. You're getting good, love the business, fantastic, one word short information, because the bots have to be programmed. No one's going to program a bot to write a 7-sentence review. They're going to program it to write maximum 1 sentence. So if you think about it, if you're looking at this review as an end user yourself, it's easy for us to detect that it's being hit by a bot and this is not real reviews. So you don't want that to happen to you, where other people think that you have bought reviews and none of them are authentic. Authenticity and trust when it comes to Google reviews are very important. If I can't trust that a person has written this, I will not work with you. There's a Montessori school in York region that has asked their teachers to write a review about the business. So the teachers, if you have your kids in that school, you would know the name of the teachers, and the teachers' names are, so the teachers are the one that have written the reviews. You know the name of them. So how can we trust that school? How? It's impossible, because now you're looking at it and you're like, well, where are the parents? It can't be that every teacher has a kid in that school. It's impossible. If there's no parents writing a review, what does that says to me? Is this a good school or a bad school? So you want to make sure that there's an authenticity and trust that is being built. The Google reviews, buying Google reviews is illegal. It's and it's against their Google policy. And even, don't even pay the real customers that you have to write Google reviews for you, because if they talk about it, and they will talk about it, it's against Google policies, and it's actually not legal to pay someone to write you a review. Google will remove your bot reviews, and buying Google reviews will hurt your search engine optimization. So you want to make sure none of that happens. So Holly, are you there?
Yeah.
I'm going to leave the rest to Holly to tell us more about social media reviews.
All right, sounds good. So you have to allow me
sharing
to share. Yeah.
Go
it
for
says
it.
Host disabled participant sharing.
Oh, how do I do that? Oh, there we go.
Here we go. Good, perfect.
My apologies.
Share screen, and everybody can see my screen, hopefully.
Yep, I can totally see it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for answering, because I was just staring at a screen. All right, let's talk about social media reviews. 2 spots specifically that you want to ask for reviews and direct people to is Facebook reviews, so on your Facebook business page, not your personal page, and LinkedIn recommendations. So there's a couple spots on LinkedIn I'll show you guys where to see your reviews, as well as where to give reviews. So, Miriam covered the Google, the Yelp, the online platforms, and I'm just going to cover the social part of it. So for Facebook, on your Facebook business page, you should have a link. And if you don't, you can go to facebook.com/your business name, which is the name of the actual page, /reviews. Now, some of the templates actually don't have that as an option, and you'd have to go into your settings to see what template that you've chosen if you do not see this option. There's also a lot of online videos that you can check you can just say, I don't see my reviews on my Facebook page, and it'll give you some options of how to find them or even how to start them. So you can send this link around and the reviews pop up, and it's pretty amazing. These are very simple steps, basically. So for LinkedIn, we have a spot called asking for recommendations. You'd want to send them to your personal page, especially if you're a service-to-service business, and the links, I'll show you where they are. So there's 2 spots. This one here is asking for a recommendation. So what I did was I clicked on that, and then I got this URL pop up. So I'm going to ask people for recommendations, and it looks just like this. So we've gotten 9 recommendations because we're, business to business, but it's also human to human. So the humans behind the businesses that we've helped, we're able to then come in and leave a recommendation on LinkedIn. There's one other spot, which is skills and endorsements. This one here, it has been said that you want to get 100 and 100 and 100 of 5 of the skills that you want to highlight. So you would ask someone to go and endorse you under this specific section, and they'll endorse you. So we're getting close to 100, but we're not there yet. Miriam did mention, though, that it is illegal and it's not proper to ask for reviews for Google. I haven't seen those yet for social media platforms. So the way that I am going to mention is that we do ask. We do ask if they get great service, why not ask? So if you're talking about the Google side of things, possibly ask in a way where it's like, here are all the options that you can leave reviews if you do feel like that. But for Facebook and LinkedIn, I'd say just ask. So you can send them the link to Facebook page or your personal LinkedIn page, and they can leave recommendations or reviews for you. Tips on how and when to ask for reviews. So I would make this part of your after service strategy or after product delivery. And I'll give you an example if you guys can also see my face. I'm going to hold some stuff up to the screen here. So hopefully you guys can see what that looks like. I'm just going to pull this up. So I got a delivery on my birthday from a friend, and it was super awesome. I was like, wow, somebody actually bought me some cool spices that I can do. I don't really cook, but I'll be able to use them at some point for something. So I got this great one here. So this came in the mail with it, and it says, before you return, let's make it right. So it says about broken, items, things like that. Just email us and we have 100% happy cook guarantee. That's pretty awesome proactive customer service, if you ask me. Then I saw this other little posted thing here. So you can see the spices here. We got some buttered chicken. We got some chicken and ribs and all kinds of yummy stuff. So we got taco seasoning. And then on the other side of it, it's actually this really great personalized handwritten note that I'm guessing the owner have written, or a customer service rep. And so what it says is, I just want to thank you for your order, blah, blah, blah. And it says, also, if you could do us a favor and leave us a review of our products online, would be great. We'd be really grateful. Hearing from people like you who love our products really helps brighten our day. I thought that was pretty special, actually. And once I try the product and take pictures with the product, you better believe that I'm going to post it on social media as like a social proof or a happy customer. So I thought that was a really great idea on a proactive level. And like Miriam said, to really plan that out, you want to actually have a post-customer service strategy asking for reviews or asking for people to do testimonials. You can ask them to do a video as well. It doesn't just have to be like, send this link and they write the thing. You could ask them to see how it was or what they thought, or give you a testimonial for it. Could be video, could be a written one, it could be just an email that they send you, but it's got to be pretty specific. So what you want to do is you want to consider incentivizing. I know Miriam mentioned that you don't want to like pay people for Google reviews, but if you're asking people to give you a video testimonial or an actual like typed out testimonial that you can then use, I'll show you where to use it. Just, you can do a coffee on us, send them a Tim Hortons or a Starbucks gift card and incentivize that. You want to ask people at the peak of your customer's happiness with your service or product as well. So it has to be timely. It can't be, 7 months down the road and you're like, hey, remember me? I did that thing for you. How was it? It's not that great, right? So you want to make sure that you ask at the peak of their customer happiness. Always prep the person to do what you want them to, actually to say what you want them to rate and to feature. So if, let's say you did a website for them or a strategy session and they're like, yeah, Holly was great. It's okay still. And you thank them. It's fantastic that they went out of their way, but maybe just prep them a little bit and say, use these specific keywords if you can. You could even pre-write something for them so they aren't starting from scratch. Because I don't know about you guys, but I've been asked to do a lot of reviews and I just clam up and I just don't know what to write. Honestly, I can't. There's something about it. Just, I want to say good things. And if someone asked me about it, I could talk about it. But for some reason, for me to say specific things about what you've done for me or how the service or product was, it's very hard for me to start that. And you've asked for a review, I'm sure, in the past as well, or testimonials. And sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. If you have something pre-written or telling them what to say or guiding them into that direction, it does make it a lot easier. So just make it really easy to get a response and always respond to the reviewer and thank them. Always, always, always. So you can incentivize, but you can also just thank them as well, depending on what kind of program you want to run. So now what do you do with these little guys here? So you've gotten some great Google reviews, you've gotten some really great testimonials on Instagram or on Facebook and on LinkedIn. People have sent you some videos, sent you some emails that said, you're amazing, this is fantastic. Sometimes what even happens is, well, I'll be emailing a client back and forth and they'll just say something really random and they'll be like, you know, you guided me into a direction I never even thought I would even be able to go to. And I then go, you know what? That actually sounds like a pretty good testimonial. Do you mind if I use that? 99% of the time, they're like, absolutely, fantastic idea. And I always think to myself, like, would that make a really cool t-shirt? Or is that something that I can use for future prospects? So stuff that you want to do with these types of great feedback that you get is just amplify it. How can you think like a marketer? How can you think, what can I do with these things? So there's tons of ideas that we'll go over. So you can share them as a post on social media. I have some examples to show you on the next slide. But one of the major things that I use, it's a tool that I use, it's called Canva, C-A-N-V-A. Canva is it's a graphic design type of tool that has a predetermined templates already made for you. So they actually have some really great quote templates as well, or you can create your own. You can put your own colors, your own fonts, your own branding on it. You can even put someone's picture, you know, if you've asked them permission to use your picture in their quote or testimonial. You can use Canva to create those images and then you can post them on social media. So I'll show you those examples in a second. Another one is you can actually turn them into case studies. So if you think about it, you know, happy people and happy clients are your biggest referral tools. So if you maybe do like a Q&A with them and turn it into a case study to show what you've been able to do with them, or even if it's a product of how it changed their life or how it changed their view on things, definitely think about turning it into a case study and then uploading it to your website. You can also, like Miriam said, publish them on your website. There's these codes that you can put in for Google reviews, for instance. You can just put 5 stars or, you know, 5 out of 5 stars. Or you could say something like 120 people out of 120 people think that I'm awesome. You know, think about ways that you can utilize that content and how to amplify it. So you can post that stuff on your website. You can even write a blog about it, about how happy you make people, and turn that into a case study too. And you can use them in a proposal. So let's say you're a service-based business. You can actually use some of those testimonials or some of those reviews, pull them out of the online platform and use them as a screenshot, or you can create an image for it, or you can just type it in a proposal. So a lot of people, what they'll say is, part of your proposal, can you give me a few references? So these testimonials are human proof that you've done a great job, they're very happy with your service or product, and they want to tell people about it. So utilize that in proposals as well. And you can also add them to your email signature. So your email signature is a huge marketing tool that a lot of people forget about. So there's this thing called WISE Stamp, WISE-STAMP. Had to think about that for a second. So WISE Stamp is what we use, so what I use, and it allows you to customize the layout. You can add your picture. You can have like an API interface with your Google reviews in there. You can have quotes, tons of stuff you can do with your email signature, but don't lose that opportunity for your email signature. So with Google, for instance, if you have a Google My Business page, so hopefully all of you guys have a Google My Business page. If you don't, please look it up. You can claim your location and claim your address and claim your business on Google. So what that allows people to do is once they Google your name or they Google, hopefully services that are embedded in there with your keywords, then hopefully you come up. And what that allows us to do is to see all the different review sites. So if you're on Yelp, if you're on HomeStars, or if you have other service providers that have their online directories that are rating systems, you can actually have those as well on your Google My Business page. You can have that one particular spot with all of your reviews from Google actually placed into your email signature. You can actually just do that with regular Gmail, or if you're using GoDaddy, you can do like an actual embedded link that will go to your reviews, and you can say, look how awesome I am, and then go out to the reviews themselves. You could also do that with your Facebook too. So if you want to highlight your reviews, these are some spots that you can do it. And I'll show you some examples of the Canva templates that we've done for some of our clients and for ourselves. So as you can see, we had some people like maybe email in, or maybe there's some Google reviews like this one. And we just did a screenshot of it, and we put it on an image in behind it, and we also added the logo to it. So for this one is one from ours. This was a Facebook review. We just turned it into an image so we could use it. So Aura had left a great review, and then we put little quotes and stuff. Like, this is actually a Canva template. So this one up here, Natalie did an amazing job. So we want to put some quotes behind it. And this one here is another recommendation. So this looks more like a Facebook recommendation or review for us. So the really great templates in Canva, I highly recommend it. If you wanted to animate it as well, so let's say you wanted these two little quotation marks to fly in or flash, Canva can do that as well. You could also use a video in the background, so the video is moving and the image is on top where it has your review or your referral there. So people won't actually go out of their way to leave a good review. I don't know if you've noticed that. There are quite a few people, I would say a very small percentage of people that will do this, but they will be damned if they'll definitely go out of their way to leave a bad review. So as Miriam said, you want to address it. You never want to apologize. You want to say, I understand, or that you have recognized that they've left you a bad review and you want to rectify that situation. If they leave a really good review, definitely thank them. Even send them a basket. Seriously, just if this is going to be one of the things that you want to work on as part of your marketing strategy, is to get reviews on Google and Facebook and LinkedIn, I would highly recommend you actually really thank people and go out of your way to do this. One other thing I'll just mention here is there's no better way to get reviews than to ask for them. It really is one of those things that unless you ask, you don't get. I don't know if you guys have, as a percentage of how many people that you've helped or how many clients you've had or how many sales that you've made for a product, and then how many reviews actually come in without people being asked or incentivized. And there's reasons that this type of thing, these type of postcards come into play, is because they know it actually takes that next step and that plan to get the reviews and to get people to go on and leave those 5 stars for you. Because otherwise they're just not really incentivized or not really wanting to do something like that. It's not something that a lot of people do. Some of us might, but most of us don't. All right, so that's it for me. I know we're just exactly on time. We're gonna open things up for you guys to ask any questions. And please, by all means, reach out to us afterwards if you have any other questions or you want to ask something that's maybe not online right now, if you have questions for Miriam and I separately. So if you guys want to come on video, you want to come on to the chat, you can also just unmute yourself. Any questions at all? So while we're waiting, I have a question for Miriam. At the very beginning, you mentioned that you can find out your score. So you're mentioning about your competition, and you said, if you have like a 4.9 score and your competitors have a lower score, it actually helps with your ranking and people seeing you. Where do you score, or what does that really look like?
So there's 2 types of scores. It's that 4.0 that you see when you're when you look at yourself on Google Map, or if you look at your competitor on Google Map, you can totally see that 4.0 score. The second piece is that when we run our search engine optimization audits, that is number 1 thing that comes up. because what happens with Google is every product that Google has, it gives you higher ranking. And if you are, sorry, whatever product Google has that you are using, let's say Google My Business Map, or if you're using your Google Analytics properly, and you're doing Google ads at the same time, these products will bring you higher up. So I have to admit one more person in. It will bring you higher up. So on the audit, I will see that because you're scoring higher, and you're getting a lot of reviews, as you said, you have proper, you've told people to use these keywords and people are using it and you're coming up for those keywords. I will see you higher up in comparison to your competitors when I run an audit for you. And you
Perfect.
can use tons of search engine optimization audit tools that are out there just to see how you're doing as far as your website optimization goes. And if your website, so the other thing is, if your Google My Business account does not have the same name as your business, then that's irrelevant. I will not be able to see that. So your business and your Google My Business name need to be the exact same. So your website and Google My Business cannot have different names.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anytime. So I have a question for you. The LinkedIn the LinkedIn reviews that we get, and the recommendations that we get, how do we utilize that is there an app that I can use on my Facebook to kind of showcase my LinkedIn? Like, can I link the two? No,
Facebook likes to keep its own, and LinkedIn is very much siloed by itself because it's very professional. They want to keep it very professional. They don't want to really intertwine with a lot of the other apps.
Okay.
Sounds like I'm humanizing them, but no, there's not really. There used to be a way that you could add a tab to your Facebook page.
That's what I mean.
On the left
There used to be apps that you can connect everything.
Yeah, so some of the templates have it and some don't. We've changed ours recently, but it used to be like you can assign a tab for MailChimp, for instance, sign up for my newsletter, and they would just click it there. But no one ever looks at those tabs. They literally just go to your page, look at your couple of your posts. And with Facebook's algorithm, it's not as interface friendly. Like, it's not very user friendly. So no, I wouldn't say we would even bother trying to connect the two.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah, but there is this thing that I'm sort of developing that I'll talk about later, but it's basically like a contact and a promotional type of app or interface where you could definitely add in those as connecting options.
I want to learn more about that.
I know. On the next episode, no, I'm just joking.
We'll do another webinar just on that.
Yeah.
Any question, guys? We can't be that good. We were not that good. Were we that good that there's no questions? We covered it all? Really?
Or maybe just everyone's really lost and like sleeping. Like they're just like, I don't know what happened.
Like, there's just too much information. I'm trying to digest it.
Yeah. So you guys feel free to nap that off. Try some of the stuff that we talked about. If you're lost or if you have any follow-up questions later, definitely reach out to Miriam and I.
Yes.
Individually or together. I'm cool either way.
Yep. We're going to hang out later on anyway, so it's fun. You can reach out to both of us at the same time too. All right.
All right. No questions. We're good.
Excellent. All right. So this video will be available on our website, and I have everybody's email address. I will be emailing everybody within the next maximum hour, and you will get the link to the video. You will get the link to the presentation, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Have yourself a good day, everyone. Oh, wait. Great session. Thanks for your time. Oh, you're welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.